I think the student would say that they found the purpose in the stuff that they've been through. That might be one of the most powerful things that they experience in the San Diego Rescue Mission. We want you to see that there's a story. Like if you hear the full story, it starts to make a little more sense of why they ended up where they ended up. So that when you see somebody that's actually experiencing homelessness, we want you to know that because of the stories that you've heard, there's actually a chance that they could change their life. So wait till you hear this story. Daniel Chavez graduated in 2022, and he's here tonight to share his story. Let's give a big mission moment welcome to Daniel Chavez. Good job. All right, we're going to try to make this work with 2 microphones. We went low budget on the sound system, so we didn't want to spend any of the resources on sound, so I think this is from the local junior high or something. But Daniel, thanks for being willing to do this. And you know that we love them hearing circumstances because, you know, when you see people experiencing homelessness, you don't know the full story, do you? But we assume some things. Like there's a lot of myths out there around people experiencing homelessness. But what I'd like for you to do is share with them your background. Where you're from, where you were raised, where'd you grow up?
Sure, yeah, I was born and raised here in Oceanside, North County, Oceanside, Vista area.
Did you go to high school up there?
I did.
Where?
Rancho Buena Vista.
RBV, Longhorns, baby. Okay, what was going on in your life before you came into the mission?
Yeah, so I was sharing earlier, I was just I was like in a 15-year cycle of...
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, can you guys hear?
They can help them.
All right, yeah, I was in a cycle, 15 to 20 years of addiction, incarceration, institutions, rehabs. Just pretty much that cycle, and I was on that wheel just going, and I couldn't find a way out.
And so how did you find the mission? How did you find San Diego Rescue Mission? Was it through our lighthouse? Through the North Shore?
No, so I went to Brother Benno's, and I was knocking on the door, and they're like, you know, we closed down because of COVID. They're like, try this place up the street called Bread of Life. And so Bread of Life, they're like, you know, we know someone in downtown San Diego. We can get you like a Skype interview over the computer, and if they'll take you in, we'll give you a ride. And I was like, all right, sounds like a long shot.
I did not know that. So there's a backstory here. First of all, the video interview is a screening, right? We do a phone screening or some type of video screening because our program staff have some questions they need to ask you. This 12-month program isn't for everybody. And you're going to take somebody who's new to the program and put them in a community with a bunch of people that have been there for a while. So that was the Skype part. The other thing you need to know is that Bread of Life was the rescue mission in Oceanside that we merged with in 2019. And we merged with them because they didn't have any beds. They were doing a lot of great things, and we wanted to have a North County presence. We were starting to think about this issue of being a regional issue. So we merged with them. And so he calls Bread of Life, which was over on Apple Street. What they did was they served meals at night. They provided food baskets for people in the community. And they did life skills classes. But they didn't have any beds. So he calls Bread of Life that didn't even have any paid staff. It was all run by volunteers. We merged with them. They were $400,000 budget. And Bread of Life became the San Diego Rescue Mission. So he calls Bread of Life. They say, we don't have any place for you to stay, but we have been talking to the San Diego Rescue Mission about some things. Maybe they can get you in. And that's how you got to the San Diego Rescue Mission.
That's how I got there.
So you get admitted, you're called a student, you have a case manager, or an advocate, is what we call them. And so as you think back on your experience with us, what's the thing you learned the most about being at Mission Academy?
It turns out if you stop consuming drugs, life does get a lot better. Who'd have thought, right? Yeah. I learned I was allergic to substance abuses because every time I break out in handcuffs, I have an allergic reaction, right?
What do you do for a living?
HVAC. I started my own company about 22 months in.
Well, hold on a second. All in favor of Daniel doing stand-up comedy, stay aye, all opposed? All right, share with these guys what you're doing now. Give them the full spectrum, because you never know. Might have somebody in here that needs to hire you.
Yeah, so when you want to renovate that building in Escondido, I'm your HVAC guy. There's my plug. No, so I'm 22 months in, got my contractor's license, started my own HVAC company. I merged with a buddy who brought his electrical license, so we formed American Construction. We're like a one-stop shop for general contractors because, you know, we do plumbing, electrical, HVAC. So I own, it's all like independently. I own the HVAC department. I stay in my lane. That's what I do. Residential, commercial, maintenance, installation, modification, troubleshooting, repairing. And,
How did you know to get into that once you graduated?
so I had that trade. I had the trade and the experience and the skill.
Before you got to the mission.
Yes, but again, going back to the sobriety thing, I just couldn't keep it together, right? And I couldn't hold a job down. That cycle, it's hard to break through.
Well, let me dig a little deeper because it's a fascinating story. And that is, did you discover when you were with us, or have you discovered since then, why you felt like you needed to use and to do those things that were destructive to yourself? That clearly you understand now, because you say you were allergic to that.
Yes.
You did that,
yeah.
but why do you think you were using and drinking and abusing your body?